Good morning, everybody. Welcome back for installment of Scott Selections here for Sunday, April 10th. Before we get into today's play of the day, quick recap of what happened yesterday. We had a nice day with a play of the day winner once again in the NBA with the Pacers and 76ers over 233.5 at minus 110 on BetMGM. Really wasn't in doubt. Same exact thing that happened a couple days ago happened again. Embiid went for 40 plus. 76ers ended up in the 230s. Indiana offensively wasn't awful, and the game landed in the 250s. So same exact story. Nice winner. Look for another winner here on Sunday. And for the play today, we're going to stick with the NBA for the final day of the regular season. And for this one, of course, motivation is going to be a question mark and a decent amount of matchups, which is why you're not really sure who's going to play for any given team. However, there is one team that should be extremely motivated in this matchup in comparison to its competition. It's going to be Utah. We're going to be looking at Utah in the first half, minus 10.5 at minus 102 on FanDuel. Time recording of 11:15 a.m. Eastern Time. Couple reasons why I like the Jazz in the first half. First of all, to go through the actual motivational differences, Utah is still playing for something. In addition to playing for playoff seeding, it is actually still competing for a division title. It currently has the tiebreaker over Denver. If it wins, then it wins the division. I know you can argue that a lot of teams are going to try to rest to stay healthy for the playoffs, but I do think division titles matter, and I do think that Utah should be quite motivated to use everybody in this game in comparison to Portland, who was already extremely injured, and they might be benching even more players if you go through the injury report because Portland does not give a damn. Portland has lost 10 in a row. This team is easily tanking, and it might have one of the worst teams of all time in terms of active roster. And you want to look at the actual performances recently. Portland has been getting shelled out of the opening just tip onward into the first half because Portland has trailed by at least 13 points at halftime in each of the last two games. On top of that, these teams did play 3 times this season. However, only one meeting occurred without Damian Lillard, so there was only one relatively recent meeting. And in that game, Utah won by 38 points. And on top of that, Utah led by 28 points at the half. So Utah, I do expect to dominate because I expect every starter to play. On top of that, the Jazz should have more incentive in addition to the actual standings to play everybody because the last game they played, they blew another double-digit fourth-quarter lead, this time to the Suns. And Utah really strikes me as being an extreme front-runner team. They struggle anytime they're hit with any type of adversity, but they dominate against the weaker teams, which is why going through the recent stretch of games, they blew a lead against Golden State. They struggled against Memphis, won in overtime. They killed the Thunder by 36, and then they blew another lead to the Suns. So now I think Utah will have all the motivation to come back and beat up on a weak team after such a terrible showing in the fourth quarter against Phoenix. On top of that, it's also obvious, but it's worth saying, in order to blow a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter, you need to have a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter. So Utah might be atrocious at closing games, but they're pretty good early on at opening up big leads. And Portland should really just pack it in. Utah should be motivated. I expect the Jazz to be up probably 15 at the half. But 10.5 is a little bit too low, considering the fact that Utah dominated the recent meeting, and I expect similar results to unfold once again on Sundays. Play that once again here for Sunday, April 10th is going to be on the Jazz first half, minus 10.5 at minus 102 on FanDuel. Bye, everyone.